You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Welcome back to Murder Speaks with your host, Wendy.
And Brent.
Yep.
It's been a hot minute since we've been on here, but we're back.
It's been a while, yeah. Lots of stuff going on at home, so yeah, we just had to take a little bit of a breather, but we're back.
Yep.
We have many TikTok channels, so the TikTok for Crystal Kiss, I believe it's called Crystal Kiss 1. That one is going to have clips of just the store and other murder stories. And if you want information, if you want to get information as to when the store is opening, get discounts, you can subscribe to our newsletter.
And also see the designs that are going to be on the store. You'll be able to see little clips with different designs for the shirts and stuff like that. Exactly.
We do have a TikTok for our podcast, which I believe the username is Murder Speaks. It's either Murder Speaks or Murder Speaks 1. So yeah, check that. That you can subscribe to as well, and you'll see. We have so many true crime stories on there, like lots.
There you go. So Murder Speaks 1 to check out information about the podcast specifically, and Crystal Kiss if you want to check out the murder merch, or I like to call it true crime merch, but I think Wendy likes to call it murder merch. And the alliteration of the double M's of murder merch. But anyways, so check that out for the designs and to see when the store is officially opening. And let's get into the story.
Okay, so remember how it goes. It's almost been a minute, but my husband knows nothing, absolutely nothing about this story.
Nope. I don't even know what the story's about today.
Nope. I make the notes, and he does not know anything about it because that was one of the things that we wanted to do. So he's surprised. He's surprised along with all of you. He has no idea what's going on.
My role is more or less I'm like the audience, hearing it for the first time and having questions.
Exactly. Questions that you guys might be having, right? So anyway, let's get into it. So today's true crime story is about 51-year-old Karen Leclair of Erie, Pennsylvania. Now, Karen came from a family of 14, which was a blended family, and she was one of the youngest.
Family of 14?
14, but it was a blended family.
Yes, but still, I mean, okay.
Okay. Okay, when she met Chris, they fell in love. Karen was very close with her sister. Now, Karen and Chris, they spent a lot of time outdoors, and they shared a lot of interests, like swimming and diving. She was a certified scuba diver. I would never pursue scuba diving. Anyways.
No, you're scared to see what's under the water. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not horrified by the idea of swimming in lakes and oceans and things like that if the water's like clean sand, clean beach water and all that kind of stuff. Like when we go in Lake Erie and some of the beaches down there. But I much prefer a pool. Yeah. I don't want to go down and see like all the rotten logs and weird fish and all that kind of like gross stuff.
I don't mind going to the beach. Like when we go to the beach, I don't mind going in the water, but I'm so afraid of going too far out where it's deep and then I can't feel the ground. I know how to swim, but I just have a fear of, I don't know what it is, just a fear. I have fear of everything. So anyways, back to the story. Now, Karen's nieces remembered her as a charitable, kind-hearted person. She was very active in her church community. Now, she was married to Chris for 25 years. And Chris, and as I mentioned before...
We're really fast-forwarding fast. Okay, so she comes from a family of 14. She met Chris when she was young, I guess.
Yes.
And then they got married, and they've been married for 25 years.
Yes, I'm just giving a little background, like how long they were together and everything, right? Yeah. And as I mentioned before, both her and Chris love the water. Now, when they moved to Erie, they made sure they were close to the lake.
Oh, Lake Erie. So they're in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I may have missed that earlier.
Yeah, I did. I did say that. Yeah. Now, apparently, there's a lot of shipwrecks at the bottom of Lake Erie because it has a lot of strong currents.
And it's also it's the shallowest of the Great Lakes. So there's a lot of like shallow points and boats can hit stuff and rupture their core. Yeah. Well, Lake Erie, like the other Great Lakes flow into Lake Erie, and then Lake Erie goes over Niagara Falls into down into the Niagara River, and then down to Lake Ontario. So all the water in Lake Erie is constantly pouring over Niagara Falls. So Lake Erie is very shallow. That's why it's so warm.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice place to swim in the summer because it's so warm.
Okay. Well, Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, is it the same Lake Erie that's in Niagara Falls, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same one.
Lake Erie is a huge lake. Oh. So it's the southern boundary of a lot of Ontario, and it's the northern boundary of parts of Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania.
Oh. Yeah. Duh, I didn't know that. Yep. Okay. Now, they fell in love young and moved in together right away. Chris wanted to. It sounds like us. My husband and I fell in love. We were in our 20s, and he moved in pretty quickly as well. Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyways, Now, Chris wanted to buy a commercial fishing boat and make money on the water. He bought a boat called Doris M. M as in mother. Now, they were always doing things together. Chris would spend all of his time at the marina, and on the weekend, Karen would spend her time there with him. They made a living on the water. Chris worked very hard. The more his business grew, the more time he spent away from Karen.
So he bought a boat, and he was making a living probably doing fishing on Lake Erie or something, but all right.
Okay, so Karen began to get lonely because he spent so much time away from her, and Chris began to get distant. Now, his behavior started to change. So Karen started doing things by herself. And all of a sudden, Chris told one of their friends that Karen was really sick and she was dying. This is random. It came out of nowhere. He started telling everybody that Karen had terminal cancer. Don't know why.
Did she know he was telling people that?
I don't think so. He was a very good liar. He was able to tell...
Well, it's a wild lie to be able to tell people, like my wife has cancer, and not have them ask her about it.
He probably told them not to mention it. You know, people, you can come up with a lie. Don't mention it. I don't want to upset her. Don't mention anything to her, because apparently she didn't know that he was telling people this.
But he's setting up a story of why she's going to suddenly be dead.
Probably. That was my guess. And Chris started to take time away from work. And Karen remained silent about her diagnosis. Like, she didn't say anything.
Because she didn't have it.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? And he probably told her to keep quiet, probably made up some lie about don't say anything. I don't know.
Well, that's what he told other people.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have told her to keep it a secret because she doesn't know she has cancer.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, he told her.
Because she doesn't.
It's a secret, exactly.
Yeah.
So Chris started telling people that he couldn't have a physical relationship with Karen because she was so sick. Now, Karen went through a dark period in her life. Now, they owned several guns. And Karen even owned her own gun. And Chris told friends that he was scared that Karen was going to commit suicide.
God.
Uh-huh. Trying to set up a story, right?
Yeah.
Turns out Chris had a secret life of his own.
No, wait, let me guess. He has a girlfriend on the side.
Bingo!
Maybe kids.
He was seeing somebody else named Tracy. Yeah. And she was in love with him.
I was in love with him. I wanted a future with him. I was all in. I met Chris through a friend. We really hit it off. Chris was very charming, very successful. He had goals in life. He didn't want to just sit around and do nothing. And that all matters. My first impression was that he's arrogant, but he won me over eventually.
So this is just the same old, like, a married guy goes off and meets a woman and then he tells her, my marriage is dead, it's over, we're separating or something like that, and I'm looking for like a new love. And then there's like a lot of women, not most necessarily, but a lot of women just fall for these stories all the time. We hear these stories and these things all the time where it's like, oh, he told me that his marriage is over and he was getting a divorce and this and that, and it's like, you're committing adultery. Like if you meet a guy and he says he's married, just think about the fact that you are committing adultery. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's the baseline point. Now, if he tells you that he's separated or getting divorced, you need to hear it from the ex-wife. Like you should. Your next thing out of your mouth should be, before we start dating, I want to meet her. I want to know that this is what she says. Or maybe he's got paperwork. Like if you've got, where's the divorce paperwork?
Yeah.
Like you should not just take it on faith. No, that you meet somebody and that they go, oh, we're getting divorced, and that's just words.
No,
like
people lie.
If you ask somebody for the paperwork, like can you show me the paperwork that you've started divorce proceedings, or that you've completed divorce proceedings? They should be able to provide that, no problem. Like if they're acting like insulted that you're asking for that, then that's just your clue that they're lying.
Yes.
Because if they were telling the truth, they'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem, it's right here.
Exactly.
It would be no big deal at all. Or if they hadn't got to that point, if they said, well, we're just separated, we haven't got to that point yet, is like, well, I want to have a conversation with your ex. I want to confirm with her that you guys are separated.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, if he calls her on the phone and she answers it, and then he says, like, I'm here with this new girl I'm dating, and she probably won't want to talk to you. It'll probably be angry.
It'll be awkward.
no, not even awkward. She'll probably just be angry and say, like, go to hell, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to this woman, or all kinds of insulting stuff. But at the point is, you've heard him tell her, and you've heard it. Like you've heard like she knows. Like Proof, at the very least she knows.
Yes.
Right. Like so. Like, and if the person isn't willing to do those things, if they're like, no, everything about about my previous relationship is going to be a complete mystery to you, then they're cheating. even if they're not, just consider that they are cheating because the behavior is so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could you trust them?
Exactly.
Anyway, so, just a community note to all the ladies out there, and guys too, I guess. If you meet a girl and she's saying this stuff to you, if a person is claiming that their relationship has ended, it shouldn't be that big a deal for you to ask for a little bit of proof just to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like if there's kids involved or an actual marriage. Like, yeah, like if they're dating, there's probably not going to be a lot of way of proving that they're not dating somebody anymore. But like if they tell you that they were married or they have kids, there should be evidence of the ending of the relationship. Otherwise, what are you doing with your life? Like, why are you wasting your time with somebody who's keeping secrets?
Exactly.
He was breaking it up way before he even started dating this woman. He was breaking it up when he started telling people they she had cancer. When he already made it up in his mind that he was going to end the relationship and didn't tell her about it.
Everybody but her.
Yeah, like he was cheating way before that. Like, she's not responsible for any part of breaking up a home.
No.
I'm saying to protect yourself from being in a situation with somebody like this is what you should do to protect yourself. She has no responsibility to that relationship.
No.
This is about the responsibility to herself.
Yeah.
Or himself.
But and they had no kids. I don't think from my research, I think he wanted children and Karen didn't.
Oh, but even still. Like, they were married. And like as soon as somebody tells you they were married, it's like then there should be evidence of the separation and divorce.
100%, I agree. Okay, so now Tracy was a single mom. She had 2 young boys. And he told her he was married, but he said that the wife didn't he didn't love her anymore, and he didn't love Karen anymore, and she didn't
believe
live in the house anymore.
I believe that he didn't love her anymore.
I believe
based
that
on his
too.
behavior. That's the truth. That what's not the truth is that they're divorced. Like, he's not doing anything to separate.
No.
Show me the proof.
Yeah, exactly. Show the receipts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Shortly after their relationship began, Tracy started working with Chris on the boat. And his wife Karen knew that Tracy worked with him on the boat, but she didn't know they were having an affair. I guess she really trusted him.
But this goes beyond. I mean, this is so weird. How do you keep the new girl that you're having an affair with from talking to your ex? Like they've met. Like this to me just like deep in her head, right? She knows this is wrong. Tracy, the girl that he's having the affair with, she knows it's wrong because she's meeting his ex and never, quote unquote ex that he's actually still with, and she's never asking her any questions.
Yeah.
Like, if you know that if you've been told this relationship is over and you're meeting this person in some fashion, and you're not asking them, like, you're not talking to them about their relationship, whatever, then there's a part of you that knows what you're doing is wrong, and you're like choosing to be blind to it, choosing to be ignorant.
I think deep down she knew that he was still with his wife. I think she just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah. Or maybe she really kind of knew, and now to protect herself, when she's being interviewed with people, she's like, I had no idea. He told me all these things.
I was in the dark. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's either willfully naive or just choosing to bury your head in the sand and engage in something that you know is wrong that you want to do. But either way, moving on.
Now, Tracy was on the boat every day. Chris told Tracy that he would never get back together with his wife. And Chris had a whole other life with Tracy. I still don't understand how Karen didn't. I mean, I believe Karen had suspicions, but she had no idea. Like, you can't be that oblivious to, if he's always gone every day with Tracy and he's becoming distant and everything. Like, how could you, like, you have your intuition. You would know if something's up. And
this isn't even intuition. This is, my husband spends all of his time on this boat, and now there's a woman that's always on this boat who's presumably somewhat attractive if he wants to be with her. His wife should know, like, why am I allowing, like, this woman who probably is, like, is probably somebody that her husband would find attractive on a little boat. It's not like this is like some massive fishing trawler, I'm imagining. Like this is some type of just a boat. Like there's limited space. Like if they're out in the water and they're spending all this time together, you have to know. Like,
yeah.
This is not even about women's intuition. This is just like, are you alive? Do you have a pulse? Do you have a brain that works? Like she knows something's up.
Yeah. Chris spent a lot of time with Tracy and her kids. Apparently, he taught Tracy's kids how to fish, and he attended doctor's appointments.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 years into their relationship, he broke down crying to Tracy.
3 years?
3 years dead. I know. He told her that Karen was diagnosed with cancer, and that was the reason he couldn't get a divorce, because she had cancer. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. But anyways, Chris and Tracy carried on with their affair for another 3 years from that point.
So 6 years.
Yeah. And Chris kept telling lies to keep their relationship a secret.
You know when somebody's lying to you. You know.
Yes.
Somebody can trick you for a little bit, but eventually there's like behaviors and there's missing time and there's weird phone calls and there's weird messages and just vibes. Like 6 years. Like
I know.
He's not that good of a liar. She's lying to herself.
Exactly.
Her lies that she's telling to herself are more effective than the lies he's telling him.
Yes.
That he's telling her. She wants to believe. Like
Yeah.
it's absurd. People out there, if you're in a relationship with somebody for 6 years who's still married to somebody else, you're absurd and you're having an affair.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Stop making excuses. If you disagree, comment anywhere where you can comment on this podcast, but you're wrong. You are a wrong person.
Okay. I agree with what he says, for sure. Okay, so now one day Karen saw an email from Tracy telling Chris that she loved him. And then Karen found Tracy's house. Nothing happened, but she just for some reason she wanted to know where Tracy lived.
Couldn't have been that hard. It's where her boyfriend lives.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tracy began to get suspicious of Chris.
Started to?
It only took 6 years.
She didn't start to get suspicious. She finally started to pay attention to her suspicions.
Yeah, exactly. She felt he was lying about everything he said. So she told him to make a choice. She said by June 10th, that's when her kids get out of school, you have until June 10th to either choose me or her. And that was the last thing she said to him. On June 10th, Chris and Karen left to go on a boat. On June 10th, on the deadline, okay?
Yeah.
Then Karen disappeared.
Oh my goodness. Did she fall over the boat by accident somehow? And then Chris came back all distraught, trying to... Oh my God. He must have launched a search party to try and find her. He must have been so heartbroken.
Oh my God. You're not far off. So Chris told the Coast Guard that Karen wasn't feeling well. He said that the fumes from the boat made her sick. And he said she was leaning over the boat and...
Throwing up?
That's my assumption. And I guess getting sick. And he looked back and she was just gone.
She just jumped.
She was just gone.
She was so overcome with the fumes from the boat, she just jumped off of it, like people do in the middle of the Great Lake.
So Chris went to the Coast Guard station. He pulled out maps. He called it in.
I mean, you look back and the person's not on the boat. You know what you do? You just stop the boat and you say, "Hey, where are you?" And then they say, "I'm right here," and then you just put them back on the boat.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't just wait. Exactly. So he said that. So anyway, so then Chris went to the Coast Guard. He pulled out maps, acted like he was trying to find her. He's trying to be helpful. He really wanted to know where she was. After 30 hours, they called off the search because they felt, okay, there's no way she could be alive. After 30 hours, she's probably dead. So, yeah. So then on June 4th, about 3 weeks after Karen disappeared, about 50 miles from Erie, Pennsylvania, Karen's body washed ashore near Dunkirk, New York. Okay?
Yeah.
Her body was tied in rope and attached to a large anchor.
Oh, I guess when she fell off the boat because she was so overcome with the fumes.
She grabbed the anchor.
She must have gotten, maybe when she got to the bottom, right? She just got tangled up in the ropes and the anchor of one of those old shipwrecks.
Yeah.
Whoops.
God. Okay, so then during the autopsy...
Actually, you know what? I feel bad laughing because this is a real person that's happened to. And I'm not laughing at what happened to her.
No, of course not.
What I'm laughing about is like the absurdity of his story and all the events that surround like these bullshit lies. If we're not laughing at her, we're laughing at the absurdity of him and his story.
Of him and his stories, yeah. Okay. Now, her body was tied in rope and attached to a large anchor. During the autopsy, they found a bullet hole in her right temple.
Wait, so her body, the rope, and the anchor all washed up on shore?
Yeah.
Had to have been one hell of a small anchor.
What do you mean the bullet?
Anchor. You said the anchor. I'm saying if there was an anchor is usually iron. Like it's like a very heavy object. Like I don't know how that would wash up on the shore unless she became detached. Well, the currents will wash her body and the rope up, but the anchor is iron. Once the anchor hits the bottom of the ocean,
Good question.
above the
Never
lake,
thought about that. I don't know.
once the anchor hits the bottom of the lake, it's not going to just wash somewhere with the currents. It might move a little bit, an inch or two here and there. It's not going to move a lot. So I'm assuming that somehow the rope broke, and then she washed up on shore, her body with the rope. Later on, they probably found the rest of the rope and make the anchor or something. Anyway,
Maybe.
Neither here nor there. Moving on.
So obviously Karen didn't fall off the boat. She was murdered.
Right. That's obvious.
The police went through the surveillance footage. Now people always forget, like, that's why most murderers are dumb, because you
forget that there's cameras everywhere.
There's cameras everywhere, man. There's cameras everywhere.
There's probably cameras at the marina showing him showing up with the rope, with an anchor, with a bunch of stuff, and then they can probably trace it back. Like, okay, look at his credit card statements. He bought something at Walmart. Go back to the Walmart, and then you'll probably see him buying rope and buying an anchor.
That's why most criminals are idiots.
There's purchase receipts, right? You can track your debit card and credit card statements. You can track the receipts. You can go back and to the store. You can look up the receipt. You can see what was purchased.
Yes,
like this person bought this thing at $3.15 on their Amex, right?
Yeah.
Did you just go to the store and say, okay, I need the receipt from $3.14? What did they buy? Boom, there it is. It's all in their computer records. He bought rope and an anchor.
Or bleach or whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. So the police went through the surveillance footage from the dock the day Karen was reported missing, June 11, 2017. Now, it showed Chris going to his boat by himself. Then a few hours later, Karen was reported missing. So the police were confused, so they went...
Oh, so she was never on the boat in the first place?
No, let me finish.
Oh, okay.
So the police searched through the older surveillance footage, and the last time Karen was seen alive was June 10th, 2017. That was the day that he took her on the boat. Remember, June 10th? His deadline? The two of them were walking to the boat. Everything looked normal.
Yeah, how that's consistent with his story, though.
They got
he said they went out in the boat and she fell off and he came back, so...
Yeah, but they got on the boat and left.
Yeah, June 10th, okay.
June 10th.
Yeah.
About 6 hours later, when he came back, he was the only one getting off the boat.
Right. Because that's when she fell off.
Okay.
Quote unquote, according to his original story, he left with her on June 10th, and then...
But there was a bullet wound. There was a bullet wound to her temple. So obviously...
When they found the body.
Yeah, so obviously she didn't just fall off the boat. She was murdered, so he murdered her.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is, because you're making it sound like when he came back, he came back without her. But we already know that, because his original story was they went out on June 10th, she got sick, he looked back, and she was just gone.
Yeah, I know, but the reason I'm emphasizing the fact he came alone is because she had a bullet wound to her temple. So obviously that information with him going and him coming back without her, and
so
the fact she was found with a bullet to her head.
So we're just talking here about the police being able to put together the timeline.
Yes.
Because they're saying if he left with her and came back without her, and then they found her body with a bullet hole.
Yes, exactly.
That means that the only person that could have put the bullet hole in her head is him.
It's Chris, exactly.
Yeah, or herself.
Well, that's what... Okay, I'll get to that. So the police can piece together what really happened to Karen. June 10th was the day Tracy gave him to choose between her and his wife. So he felt he had to do something drastic. So he shot Karen in the head, tied up her body to the anchor, and dumped her in Lake Erie. During that time, he was texting Tracy that he loves her, and they were texting about taking a bath together. This was all going on while he was dumping his wife's body in Lake Erie.
Oh, God. That's really gross.
I know. It is
Imagine
gross.
how, I don't believe that she didn't know that she was having a full-on affair, right? But I'm very convinced she didn't think she was having an affair with a murderer. Can you imagine how she found out afterwards when she's like, oh, we were having like sexy chat back and forth, or like a naughty chat back and forth and talking about a bath. And all while that's happening, you realize that he's in the middle of committing a crime,
killing his
murder.
Wife.
Yeah. Like imagine how creepy and
That'd be
skeeved
very
out.
creepy.
You'd feel so skeeved out.
Yeah. So he shot Karen in the head. When Karen's body was found, Tracy knew that everything Chris told her was a lie.
Yep.
48-year-old Karen Leclair was charged with criminal homicide. He was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced with life in prison without the possibility of parole. His father, Ernest Leclair, was arrested for tampering with evidence and accused of hiding the murder weapon. This is based on the research that I found. Yeah. Prosecutors presented evidence of Chris's long-term affair. His mistress allegedly pressured him to leave Karen and threatened exposure.
Allegedly? I mean, was that not in the text that she was texted him? I thought you said earlier
Well, she told.
Oh, she told him. Yeah,
She told him that she gave him ultimatum. You have until this day, or else I'm done.
I was thinking that was text, but it might not have been text. That could just be her testimony to the police after the fact.
Yeah. They argued he planned the murder for nearly a decade. Now, I do believe that he did plan the murder, but that's why he came up with that story about her having cancer and dying and shooting herself.
I would assume that from the point that he said that she had cancer. Although it's so weird. You could tell like he was not very focused or clear thinking, right?
No, obviously not.
Because if you're going to come up with a story of her having cancer, then the way she dies should be in some way related to that. It should be like, if you're a clear thinking person, you would set up a situation where she committed suicide somewhere, took some pills, right?
Yeah.
So you give her, crush up some pills and put it into her food, and then you tell people that she committed suicide.
Or something.
Because most women commit suicide or murder with pills. That's the way they usually do it. They usually poison people.
Well, they don't want to shoot themselves, yeah. So
there's a lot of reasons for it. Women don't typically like a lot of violence. So they like something that's somewhat peaceful, even though I imagine poison is probably quite painful. But there is ways to do it that's painless. But you would think anyways, okay, the story is she's got cancer, although even that would fall apart because the cops would be like, all right, let's go back and talk to the doctors. And every doctor is like, she doesn't have cancer. There's no
exactly.
It would all fall apart anyways. But at least it would be consistent. To be like, all this time, she's got cancer, I'm having an affair, I shoot her in the head and throw her off a boat.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense. I know it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, Chris's defense maintained that Karen shot herself in a moment of despair over his infidelity, and he later disposed of the body to protect her reputation. I know, it sounds ridiculous. I know.
It's absurd on the face of it.
Yes.
It's just...
I know, it's absurd.
Yeah.
The trial took place October 2018. The jury deliberated less than 2 hours before convicting Chris of first-degree murder and the related counts.
I'm surprised it even took that long.
I know.
The only reason it would have taken 2 hours is if the judge said, if you don't have a decision by this time, then we'll buy dinner. And they were like, okay, let's just wait until dinner comes. Because I would have walked out of that room and walked straight into that jury room, and they would have said, so what's that? And I would have said, he's guilty of first-degree murder. How long can we put him in jail for? Does anybody disagree? And everybody would have said yes, and he'd be done.
Exactly.
It's so open and shut. It's so clear.
The Coast Guard spent more than $600,000 on a 30-hour search that covered about 1,400 square miles. And for nothing, because he knew that he killed her,
yeah.
Right? So in November...
Is he charged with fraud?
In December 2018, he received mandatory life in prison without parole, plus an additional 3 years, 9 months to 17 years. And he was ordered to pay $705,974 in restitution to the U.S. Coast Guard.
So they probably seized all of his assets, sold his assets off, and then whatever money was left over went to that. Him and his wife didn't have kids.
Nope.
So I guess it's not a big deal that all the money went to the government because at least there wasn't kids involved. Because you'd hate to think that those kids didn't get an education or something like that because the government got all the money, even though the government the government didn't do anything wrong, and there's well within their right to restore that money that he wasted.
Yeah. Yep, and that is it. That is the story.
What's his name again? What's his full name?
Christopher Leclair.
So this is the true story of Christopher Leclair, a moron.
Yes, and the unfortunate death of Karen Leclair.
I would love it if the actual murderer heard this episode and heard somebody calling him a moron and making fun of him, and that was just driving him crazy behind bars, but there's nothing he can do about it. I know he'll never hear this, but it'd be awesome if he did, and it just drove him nuts. And he's like, "This guy's calling me a moron." It's like, yeah, you're a moron.
Well, yeah,
your story makes no sense. You could have at least come up with a way of making the story make some kind of sense. You had 10 years. 10 years he was working on thinking about how he's going to get away from his wife and whatever. And the best plan he comes up with is she has cancer. She found out I was having an affair. She was upset and killed herself over the affair.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
With a gun.
Wow.
And then, to make it easy for him, she was like, I'm so upset about all this. I'm going to now shoot myself with the gun pointed towards the lake so it doesn't make a mess in your beautiful boat, and I'll just topple over into the lake and make your life nice and easy.
Yeah, exactly. With an anchor and rope and everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll tie this anchor and rope to myself, and I'll sit on the edge of the boat, and I'll shoot myself and topple over the side. Because I wouldn't want to make your life difficult.
Yeah.
Such a moron. You are a moron. If you ever hear this, and I hope you do, you are a moron. I hope you're going nuts in jail.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's it, people. That is our episode for today.
All right. So, like you said, check out Murder Speaks 1 for the TikTok account to check out this story and other little stories that we've got posted up on there. I say little because TikTok, obviously, you have to edit things, so we got short stories. Sometimes they're broken up into parts. You can also check out Crystal Kiss to see when the store will be opening up again.
Yep.
You can check out Crystal Kiss on TikTok, so you can kind of see the designs that we've got that will be available, so you can check them out.
And subscribe to our newsletter so you can stay up to date and you can get discounts.
Oh, right,
when the store does open.
Yeah, it'll give you the official time of the store opening, and it'll give you their date, and it'll also give you, like you said, discount codes. So
yeah,
beautiful.
To subscribe to our newsletter, just go to our TikTok. It's I believe it's called Crystal Kiss 1, and I am offering.
But we don't believe that's what it's called. We know that's what it's called.
Yeah,
you can go there with confidence.
Yes, okay, whatever. No, because I have so many. The reason I said I have so many TikToks, but yeah, Crystal Kiss 1, and I'm offering if you do subscribe, you also get a free YA thriller. It's a book that I actually wrote a long time ago, and I'm offering it for free. So you get a good read, and subscribe, and you'll get you can stay up to date with announcements and discounts and everything.
There you go.
Yeah. So thanks for.
And guess what? The book is a murder mystery.
It is a murder mystery. It's called Masquerade of Lies. It's my first novel that I've written. I have written children's books, but this is my first novel. I do want to write another one. I've started writing it, but I just don't have a lot of time, so it's still in the works. But it's called Masquerade of Lies. It's a young adult mystery thriller, and check it out. It's free. Just all you have to do is go to Crystal Kiss on TikTok, Crystal Kiss 1, subscribe, pick up the free ebook, and then subscribe to our newsletter, and then you can read the book, and that's it.
There you go.
So yeah, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us on another episode, and we'll be back next week.
And remember not to murder anybody.
Okay, bye!